How's it going, everybody? It's SaltyTreecko, and in the new Pokemon Legends ZA, we've just gotten revealed that we are going to have a Mega Dragonite. And I think this is really cool, even though I don't personally like the design very much. It's kind of alright. But anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to speculate on what this Pokemon's going to get in terms of abilities, base stats, and its applicability to the metagame. And I think this is actually a really interesting one because this Pokemon, and I'm not saying this for viewer retention, I genuinely mean this Pokemon has the potential to be completely broken, totally Ubers level Pokemon, maybe even high tier in Ubers. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some previous Mega Evolutions of Pseudo Legends just to see if we can see sort of a pattern here, see what we're looking at. And the first pattern does emerge from the Pseudo Legends is all of their base stats go up to 700 from their previous 600. That is what makes a Pseudo Legend a Pseudo Legend. Other than that, there's not really too many crazy trends. In terms of abilities, they tend to have really no pattern of whether they keep their old ability or if they go to a new ability, completely different. It really kind of depends on the design, I would say. Like, Mega Metagross obviously gets Tough Claws because it's got those big ol' hands. Mega Salamence goes full flying mode, so it gets Aerialite. Keep that in mind, that's going to come up later. But other than that, there's no real crazy trend with the stats, aside from the fact that they all keep their HP, but that's true of every Mega Evolution. But I think an interesting comparison here is specifically Mega Garchomp, because Mega Garchomp actually gets its speed lowered, which is part of the reason why it sucked so bad, but it gets a really crazy boost to both special and regular attacks, which I think might be a route that they go down with Mega Dragonite, although I honestly hope they don't tap into special attack, just because its attack has so much potential. I could see them lowering the speed, but I don't particularly see it happening. The obvious comparison here, though, is Mega Salamence, who goes from those base stats to these base stats. I think what's interesting about Mega Salamence is it doesn't really get a crazy attack boost. It only goes up 10 base points, but those stats really do well in every other stat. It gets a whole 50 base points into its defense, which is kind of crazy. Its special attack and special defense don't go up too much, but it gets good speed boost. It's kind of weird because this Pokemon was really super meta for how, well, I don't want to say insignificant, but how not crazy the base stats were dealt with this guy, and that's mainly because of the ability Aerialite, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. My prediction is that looking at the design of this guy, they really wanted you to make sure that this guy is a flying type. They gave him those big ol' stupid looking wings on his head, and that's like the focal point of the design. These wings are basically the size of the entire rest of his body, and I think they definitely did that on purpose because I think they're really hinting strongly that this Pokemon is going to be receiving the ability Aerialite. Before I talk about that, though, I kind of want to theorize a little bit onto the base stats. This is going to be really heavily theoretical because I kind of have no idea what they're going to be doing with this. My first idea here is that they really tap into its attack and they just give a big 40 base power increase to its attack. I will put regular Dragonite's base stats onto the side for comparison. I can see them also going the route where they really don't throw too much into his attack, but then he puts, he gets a really significant boost to his special attack, so he can operate as a mixed attacker. I could also see them, I put the speed up by 20 here, I put it all the way up to 100. I could see them really juicing up the rest of his base stats, and even potentially decreasing his speed, like they did similarly to Garchomp. However, I think sort of a more balanced approach is going to do here. I feel like they're going to keep the attack somewhere in the realm of 164, 154, juice up the defenses a little bit, give it probably more special attack than it should be getting, just because if they do give it Aerialite, which once again is speculation, but I really think they're going to do that. If they do give it Aerialite, they really need to balance around him having that, because this Pokemon could be really deadly. So now let's talk more about Dragonite himself. The thing with Dragonite is that if this Pokemon does get a different ability, namely Aerialite when it Mega Evolves, this is really big news, because having a ability that can strongly benefit you before you Mega Evolve, and then getting another broken ability once you do Mega Evolve, is pretty broken, and it's honestly surprising that that hasn't come up in many Mega Evolutions previously. The first guy I could think of is Sharpedo, who in his base form has the ability Speed Boost, which gives him +1 speed every turn, and then when he Mega Evolves, he gets the ability Strong Jaw, which powers up a lot of his biting moves. So typically, the game loop for him is you bring him in, you'll go for like Protect or something to get the speed boost, and then you won't Mega Evolve. The next turn you'll Mega Evolve after you get the speed boost to then have those big powerful moves to be throwing off with the previous +1 speed boost that you got before you Mega Evolved. I think if they do go this route, Dragonite is going to be really strong, because Dragonite already has very good bulk and a tremendous ability in multiscale making the damage you take from an attack be halved if you're at full HP. It's a very strong ability, one of the best in the game, but namely it is one of the best in the game for a bulky setup sweeper, which is exactly what Dragonite is. Typically you'd see a set like Dragon Dance, you typically see like Extreme Speed, EQ, and then Ice Spinner. This is typically what you would see in terms of a Dragonite. And the big thing about the set, let's see if it'll give me what I want here. Yep. The big thing about the set is that you can typically get a Dragon Dance very easily, because unless you're facing down like an Ice type, having multiscale means you're really pretty much capable of surviving whatever the opponent throws at you. And you basically get a free Dragon Dance or a free attack off, whatever you want. So the big thing about Dragonite is here, and I'm gonna leave out the obvious Aerialate buff here until later. We'll talk about that briefly in a bit because it's kind of obvious. If Dragonite comes in, it has multiscale. If you can set up a DD, take a hit, or God forbid the opponent has to switch out, if you get that DD up, you can Mega Evolve the next turn, already take advantage of multiscale, and then when you after you get if you get a Dragon Dance up, once you Mega Evolve, you're going to get those boosted defensive stats, and you're going to be even tankier than before. So, you could potentially get 2 Dragon Dances completely for free if you're facing down like a defensive team, or like a balanced team, and the opponent has like a Pokemon in that doesn't particularly threaten you. This could really, really easily set up, and it could really spiral out of control very quickly. Dragon Dance obviously boosts your speed and attack by 1 stage, so you could get potentially +2 attack and +2 speed almost for free just by coming in on a Pokemon that doesn't particularly threaten you. And then obviously we do have to talk about the fact that Aerialate Extreme Speed might be the stupidest idea that GameFreak has ever had if they do decide to implement this. Because Extreme Speed is a move that Dragonite already runs. It's very notable for running it in Gen 9 because, one, it's a very powerful priority move. It's very good for revenge killing, coming in late game and queening weakened teams. It's also very useful on a choice band set for you to come in and just start clicking this powerful priority move just to pick off whatever opposing Pokemon's at low health. But with Aerialate, this move not only becomes a flying type, so you benefit from stab off of it, but it also goes all the way up to 96 base power. So to summarize, you would have a 96 base power stab move with +2 priority. Not only is it a priority move, it out-prioritizes most other priority moves. Which is really scary considering this Pokemon could potentially have upwards of 164, 174 base attack. And it could potentially really have a free opportunity to get all the way to +2. This Pokemon could be really scary. Another thing I do want to quickly talk about is how good the coverage of Extreme Speed Flying plus Earthquake would be. If I scroll down real quick, I hope you can see this, I don't know if it's in frame. Only 1.4% of Pokemon resist the combination of Flying, Extreme Speed, and Earthquake. And if you add Ice Spinner onto this, no Pokemon in the current game resists this combination of 3 moves, which is really good, especially when you have a Pokemon so strong and with such good priority and such strong attacks. So I think really it's an interesting argument whether you would want to run like a Roost or Ice Spinner on this guy, because obviously Roost is just a tremendous attack for longevity, but Ice Spinner really gives you that completely perfect coverage. Like, look at that. 63.8% of all Pokemon are weak to this attack. And if we take off Ice, it is important to note here that the resists, if you only run these 2, are actually pretty impactful. Notably, you have Zapdos and Skarmory, which also means obviously that Corviknight's going to resist you. And those are some Pokemon that you really don't want to be able to resist you. But then again, consider the fact you could just run Ice Spinner, and then you have perfect coverage. So I think it's actually a pretty interesting thought about which moves you would want to run here. Moving on, let's look at some fun calcs. Here is this hypothetical 164 attack. Actually, let's even say we're on the tamer end and it only goes up to 154. This is only a 20-point change to its base attack. You only need +1 to completely one-shot max HP Great Tusk. Like, no chip required, just big ol' Adamant Nature max HP +1 completely wipes it off the face of the planet. Here's another fun one, your traditional defensive Toxapex set. With +1, Earthquake has a over 50% chance to flat out one-hit KO, and then if you slap on Stealth Rock to the equation, my bad. Oh, it's running boots. Let's pretend that doesn't exist. If you get Stealth Rock Chip, it's a guaranteed one-hit KO, once again, just at +1, and this is on the more modest side of the attack spectrum. Let's say, once again, if we put on, let's just get rid of spikes. If we say that this guy gets 164, goes all the way up to an 81 chance to one-hit KO from full! It's a Toxapex! Another fun one here has a 56.3 chance to OHKO max defense Blissey from full. Another good one here, you have a pretty clean 2-hit KO on fully defensive Zapdos, doing 72% minimum at +1, and let's say that hypothetically you get those rocks up, it goes all the way up to a 75% chance just to kill it. I think the true Achilles heel in terms of opposing Pokemon to this Dragonite set would be Corviknight. As we can see, even at +1, this guy does not do crap to it. However, if we take that up to +2, there's a pretty reasonable chance that this Corviknight stops being a switch-in, even all the way up at 248, 252, max on this guy. Still, if he gets +2, if your Corviknight is weakened, you need to be scared. Like, you cannot gloss over this. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more speculation videos. I imagine we're going to be getting a lot of new information about Pokemon Legends ZA in the coming weeks, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and I hope you guys all have a good day.